Hey, what's going down, Eagles fans? It's Dre, aka Dre Diesel, coming to you from sunny California as always. And you know what we doing here? We talking in Philadelphia Eagles all day, every day, man. We got 82 days till kickoff, guys. It's slowly ticking down. I got my counter on my phone every day. Just let me know it's gonna be time for some football. Woo! I can't wait. If you guys are excited like me, hit the like button, subscribe, notificate, and notificate. Is that even a word? And shoot me some comments, man. I really appreciate you guys coming in. And let's get into this good Eagles news that we got this week. All right. So first off, I want to talk about this guy, Big Dom. And maybe you guys can let me know a little bit more about Big Dom because I'm wondering, like, who is this guy? Like, now the Eagles have tagged him as a lightweight coach. So the refs won't be able to kick him off the field, apparently, along with some other titles. And I'm like, man, you talk about a guy that you talk about a guy with a lot of mystery behind him. I mean, I don't know who this guy is or what, but do some of y'all get the feeling that maybe this guy is connected? Like this guy is affiliated with organized crime? Because to me, I mean, I don't know if that kind of stuff is alive and well in Philadelphia. Like I said, I'm all the way out here in California where we don't really see that besides the cartels. And to me, if there was ever a guy that I wouldn't want to upset or mess with his family, that's Big Dom, man. Not only is he an opposing figure, but the way this whole thing shapes up and the way it goes down and his position with the team, I have a feeling this guy is rooted in Philadelphia in ways that nobody's gonna know. If you know what I'm saying. Three fingers and milk, mom. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy is pretty important. So don't mess with Big Dom. Let me know what you guys think, man. I think this dude's affiliated, bro. He's with the Camilleri family, or I don't know what it is, but let me know. All right, and then it was good to see Tanner McKee, man. Tanner McKee, lightweight, became a bromance of mine last preseason, right? And I really like this dude. But then here we go, new coach, new scheme, new system. Here comes the new system's boy, Will Greer, and everybody's like, "Oh man, here we go." I mean, I was the same one too. I was like, "Don't let us end up getting rid of Tanner McKee without really getting a chance to at least see what the guy can do." I mean, if he's a good player, he gets a chance to play somewhere. I'm not going to hate on him, but I don't want to let him go, man. I really like the kid, and it sounds like he has secured the third string spot. So at very least, he'll be our emergency quarterback. But I think what we can do is still have another one on the practice squad. So we may walk around with four quarterbacks, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think that Tanner will end up being that emergency quarterback spot that does not count against the roster. So he'll be the 54th man, most likely. And I love it. I love the kid. He's got a great arm, tall guy, sees the field really well. And I'm glad he's still a Philadelphia Eagle, and it looks like he will be for a while. All right. And then, I wanted to dive into a couple of signings that we made. We made a signing at guard and we made a sign at slot cornerback now. Another cornerback. And I'm not sure how many cornerbacks we actually have on the roster right now, but I know it's more than 10 or 12. I mean, I want to say this guy must be like the umpteenth. And to me, I'm thinking like this: why do we have all this going on? What is going on with the guard spot, right? Is there something that we don't know about yet? Maybe I'm thinking, like I said last video, that at the guard spot, at least in the backup position, we might be a little light. Our talent might not be up there. And Stout might have gone to Syria and been like, hey, let's get another guy in here to compete. Let's see what we can do to push these guys. There could be other things too, But it does raise a concern to me that the backup guard spot might be a little light because, those guys got to move around. High chance they could get hurt, especially in the run game. And, we got a guy go down and we're lighting the ass on that position. It's going to hurt us. So I don't know. That's another one you guys could let me think, man. I'm just not sure why we're doing this. Hopefully, it's just for competition at depth. But I really got a bad feeling that this might mean that the Eagles might be a little light of talent um, at the guard spot. And then, of course, we signed this Nickerson kid. I think that was his name, slot cornerback specialist. And right now, like I said, we got a lot of cornerbacks. I mean, is it possible that we're still facing the same thing too with the cornerback position? Or is there something else behind the scenes that we don't know? There's a lot of things that I could speculate on, and one of those things is a possible Slay trade. The other thing is, um, what's the chances that we end up running a base nickel package with all the talent that we have? And this is another good one I'd like to hear from you guys about. What if we just come out and run nickel package with an extra DB in there, and then even play some dime in there with cornerbacks at the linebacker positions? You know, all these things can come into play, but the fact that we signed an umpteenth slot cornerback period is an interesting little deal here, man. Because honestly, I mean, if any position we're good at, it's got to be cornerback, right? Yeah, so a bit of a head scratcher there. All we can do is speculate at this time, but that's what I love to do in this off season is we can go ahead and speculate away. As long as it seems to be more valid, I'm going to talk about it. And one of the more valid things to me is a Slay trade, or possibly, like I said, we're going to run a base package that includes an extra cornerback at all times. So we're going to need a guy there, right? So yeah, that's another one. Let me know what's up with that. Okay. And then there's a couple other things that have been really spooky about the Eagles. That's why I'm wearing black today, because I'm a little spooked out, man. This is gets a little scary, man, because the Eagles have been haunted in two certain issues that have gone on, man. And the first one is, as good of a team, and I was thinking about it last week, as good of a team as we are with the talent that we have, one thing that has really haunted us is the coaching position, right? Yes, we've had Siri now for a couple, 3 years, and that's actually nice to have that head coach in that spot. But what about the other coaches, man? I was sitting here thinking about it, and 2 years, 3 years in a row now, three rookie classes have seen three different coaches at their respective positions. And that's not good. You know, a lot of these teams, they got their coaches, they're solidified in there. Look at Kansas City. Look at how the Patriots always did it, man. They held on to their coaches. Why are we not able to do that? I see a lot of people on social media saying, hey, it means you're successful. It means it's a good thing if you're losing your positional coaches. But is it really? Because we changed up a lot. I mean, these guys have been talking to new faces for the last 3 years, and I just don't want this to become a habit, man, because you could get really scary if, we don't play well again this season. And then we're sitting there thinking, hey, is it our coaches again? We're gonna have a fourth year of different coaches next year. This is something that I'm really concerned about. So let me know what you guys think, man. The other thing that's been kind of scary was that they were going to take some draft picks away from us. They were trying to say that we talked to Saquon a little too early. Mr. Head coach at Penn State went yada yada on his media press conference and tried to out us, man. And I don't know what was up with that, but to no avail. We turned the lights on in that haunted house, and the Giants, unfortunately, they don't luck out and get a pick from us. We were exonerated of all charges, so we could go into training camp not having that ghost looming over our heads. Ooh. All right. Uh, what I'm also interested in is Josh Sweat. Is Josh Sweat going to play outside of Jalen Carter on the right side? And what I wonder is, can Josh Sweat actually move in now that we're going to a 3-4, right? So at a 3-4, you got Jordan Davis in the middle, Jalen Carter on the right, Milton Williams on the left, or those two can switch. But those guys spread out a little bit. And then you have your linebackers, which will most likely come up on the line. So it'll be mostly a 5 down lineman set. And what I'm wondering is on some of these downs, can we move Sweat in from the linebacker position, scoot him in over to maybe where he can give Jalen Carter a break if he got to tie his shoes or something like that? I mean, heaven forbid anything happened to him, or Milton Williams. Can we play him on one of those outside tackle spots? I feel like that wouldn't be a bad deal there because he's ultimately still lining up against the defensive or the offensive tackles and still able to rush the passer that way. So let me know what you guys think on that, because also too, I feel like we are a little light in the ass when it comes to the defensive tackle position. Vic Fangio is going to demand a lot more playing time and a lot less rotation from the defensive line that these guys have been used to the last couple of years, right? So you're going to have Milton Williams, Carter, and Davis on the field a lot. And then what happens if one of these guys go down, or like I said, they got to get up and tie their shoe? Who do we got? I was checking it out, right? We got some guy that we signed. I guess his name is PJ I don't know, Mustafa, something like that. And we haven't heard a thing about him. And then, of course, we had a Jomo who apparently was flashing last year, but I don't remember too much seeing him play too much. But apparently, he did flash last year, and he can come in and play the backup. So that's two guys, and I feel like we're okay there. But are those guys going to produce? And after those guys, we got nothing, man. We got not a darn thing. So one thing that I'm thinking that we could possibly do is try an eye for a defensive tackle. I know we did get the kid Gabe Hall and undrafted free agent, and apparently he shows some flashes. So maybe one of those guys will pan out. But we get into training camp and we find out that our second team doesn't look good at the defensive tackle position. Maybe we need to bust a move. And that's where I was thinking maybe a Slay trade might come into play. We're deep into training camp. Oops. Milton Williams goes down, out for the season. Damn. A Jomo comes in, just can't get any pressure for whatever reason. We need a defensive tackle. What do we do? Howie, make a call. Bust on some teams that need a cornerback. Put Slay up for it. Get another defensive tackle in here. Getting through training camp, we should see that our cornerback room is tight and we should be good to go. We've got tons of dudes there. So if we end up having to move Slay and Bradbury this year before the season starts, I don't think that's going to affect us too much. And Slay, we could get something for him. Bradbury's going to go on a whim. We're not going to get anything for that guy. But if we have to, have to. I think that's a possibility, man. We could put Slay up to fill any position that we might need. Speaking of Slay, there's a reason why I had an issue with him last year, and the biggest one was his stupid podcast. And I feel like that's an area where players really need to tread lightly when they decide that they're going to run a podcast during the season. That can bring up a lot of issues, man. And one thing I have to commend Jason Kelsey and his brother for is that they treaded very lightly about what they talked about in the while they were doing their podcast on the season. They weren't out there bashing anybody. They weren't out there really throwing their opinions around about it too much. They were just talking about what had happened, recaps. That was pretty much about it. But Slay gets on his podcast in the middle of the season and does a lot of talking about a lot of stuff that upsets a lot of people, man. And so that's another reason why I'm like, man, if we end up trading the dude, I mean, I don't know if I'll feel too bad about it because I'm still kind of pissed off about how he went about it. And then here we go. Slay goes on to another podcast. I can't remember which one it was, but he's out there and somebody asks him a question and he gives his opinion on it again and causes an uproar about the fact that we won't be wearing our Kelly Greens. He could have just said, shoot, I don't know. But no, he goes out and says, "Oh hell no, oh no, we ain't wearing those Kelly Greens again." Blah blah blah. And this is that shit, man, that I really just don't want to hear from Slay. It only took, I think, a whole day for it to finally come out that yeah, we are gonna wear them. We don't know when, but there's no way in hell that we're not gonna be wearing the Kelly Greens at some point. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I'm sure, from the uh, amount of merchandise that they sold that they'd be dumb to not come out with that. And to be honest, I don't know if it might not end up being our next color as if we don't revert back to the Kelly Green. But yeah, man, Slay needs to just shut up, man. I mean, he needs to really. I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy, but he doesn't strike me as one of the smartest people when it comes to thinking about what you're gonna say before you say it. And that's just further just goes to show, man, that I'm not gonna be mad if we move him. To be honest, the only time I'll be mad we move him, and then we end up, right back where we were, not playing well in the secondary. Then I might feel some kind of way, but otherwise, I don't even think that's gonna happen, man. Please, Slay, if you out there, please shut up. Last thing I want to talk about is the gang problems in Sao Paulo. So now apparently there is an outside chance that the local gangs will have a problem if they see you wearing green or the rival color of the soccer team from Sao Paulo. If you wear their colors, whichever color it is, apparently it's anything that's dark green. So Green Bay and Philadelphia are the perfect candidates to go to Sao Paulo, right? This is the stupidest thing I ever heard. Isn't Brazil's flag green? Are they not allowed to fly their flag there in Sao Paulo? The gang's gonna shoot down the flag, and I don't know if this thing that Josh Jacobs said about the gangs is actually true or not, or if it's something that he said, she said, he heard, they heard. They're trying to be careful about it or whatever. But what does that have to do with um, the players on the field playing it? Is somebody gonna open fire at the game? They don't got security there. I guarantee you, Eagles fans ain't gonna give a fuck. They're gonna fly in there with their shit on and fly it high. We're gonna have our green on, So, I mean, good luck with that. I'll be shocked if you don't see green in the Coliseum where they're playing at. And like I said, from what I understood, it just had to do with the rival team and not gang members. So I don't know which way it is, but to me, the whole thing is dumb. And the fact that the NFL scheduled two green teams to go play at that time in that place, that makes absolutely no sense to me, man. Absolutely no sense at all. And it just goes to show you how stupid these schedules could be sometimes when they come out with them. It's like it's like there's a kid with a Cracker Jack box putting his hand in the box and making selections on what's going to happen as far as the schedules go. Well, and that looks like it's about it, guys. Like I said, we don't have a lot of news. I've been kind of keeping track on it, but as far as Eagles news goes, of course, it's going to slow down. I guess I'm going to go to maybe about once every 2 weeks. I don't know. I like doing these on Friday, so maybe I'll stick with it, depending on how the news comes in. Um, I'm Andre, aka Dre Diesel. This is the Cali Eagles podcast. I really appreciate you guys coming in. Like I said, if you like the video, hit that subscribe. Just shoot me a like. I mean, I'm just in it for the likes, really. I mean, as long as you guys are enjoying this, let me know, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And if there's anything that you want to talk about, hit me on the bottom. Any California fans out there of the Eagles, am I the only one out here? Let me know. Um, and I really appreciate you guys' time. Thanks for meeting me at the door. It's Dre, and I'm out.